Okay, California, grip your balls. I've just been told that by the VA representative that they said that it's common for a nuclear bomb to go off every year in the Pacific Ocean. Very common, nothing to worry about. It was hit in 1983 with a nuclear blast, and also, I believe, with psychological operations weapons, new weapons. I believe our ship was hijacked. What they did was, or what someone did was, they said there was a refueling vessel, and they came up next to us. And the next thing I know, they were attempting to do a refueling line. Then they fired a line. It hit our vessel, and before it hit an officer, I was on the bridge wing. I was a quartermaster, which is like a navigator. I was there with people on the bridge wing, up near the bridge or the pilot house, as some know it. And right before it hit, one of the men turned to me and he said, "Get me a 45." Then when it hit, it was a very bright white light, if I recall correctly, and he said, "I can't pull out of it." The officer had a microphone on. It's believed that the ship was hijacked. We did not even know they were on the ship that I know of. After they left the ship, they left and we didn't even know what was going on, basically. They basically stunned us. And I'm just now recalling this in 2015. We fired all of our guided missiles, about 50 to 100 missiles, guided missiles, and large missiles from the FFG-30 USS Reed. And then after we fired the missiles, we took off at full speed, and the ship suddenly shut down and all power went down. Then after a few minutes, I hear a yell from Combat Information Control, a scream like something had gone terribly wrong. I believe the missiles were redirected to other hits, to other targets, and it almost precipitated World War III. That was during the week, on 1 week in 1983. The following that weekend, it looked like a nuclear bomb or a flash had gone off in the Pacific. You could see it from San Pedro or LA Harbor. Then we went out the following week on the USS Reed FFG-30. I was the quartermaster. The captain gave me the option to jump ship. I should have done it. I did not know. I was just doing my duties. I didn't know he was serious. But I was exposed to radiation. And I believe we were hit with some more psychops en route to the ship. Did they board us again? Most likely. I ended up having a stroke. The government is trying to deny responsibility. The VA also told me, or a PVA representative told me, that the VA feels that if your children are impacted by radiation, that is not you. Therefore, you will not be compensated, and therefore neither will your children because they weren't in the military. The best bet is to stay out of the military at all costs. If you have your own weapon that would allow you to escape or to possibly benefit in a friendly forces manner, then it's something that would be a new weapon that you come up with or a new tool. They basically have us hit with psychops that is basically useless to own a gun or to go with those people. There's always hope that they will be destroyed, but you know in the real world it gets no better. The French went through the same thing, chapeau blanc, blanc chapeau, hat white, white hat, during their revolution. The Mexicans have their revolutions every day and it never gets any better, the wages get less. I urge you to be very careful if you come to the West Coast of the United States looking for employment, particularly if you're from the poorer class, from the East and Southeast. They have no use for you, really, and particularly if you're competing for jobs, and they will discriminate against you. The best bet is to back up against the border or to leave the United States. But where do you go? It's a big world. I think the United States is basically a bucket of lies. To them, even put God on the currency makes me want to vomit. Like I said, it's at the top of their government. What's controlled is murderers, liars, and thieves. I would have preferred to had a mercy killing when I was hit with a radiation and stroke. They could have shot me and that had been the end of it, or injected me, finished me off, than what's happened to me. And I would encourage you to never serve their military, never do their drugs, never do their alcohol. View the government as a predator. View the people who run these industries against you as a predator. And that includes things such as Vegas and all casinos and all places that would use your women as prostitutes. I basically don't care if people are killed any longer because I am half dead, but that's just my own callous way. I've been in touch with the Argentina military to describe to them the Psychops tools. I hope it was not the Argentinians who jumped our ship. I do not think it was. Petty Officer Colburn seemed to think it was the British, but I think it's whoever controls the British, possibly Russia or someone else, and I would not care if we had a nuclear war or a prolonged war that brought back complete annihilation of the human species. But I'm biased because I've had a stroke and I'm probably about to die of cancer of various sorts. And the government has basically spit on me so many times that I've come to realize they really don't care about me. And I really don't care about them any longer either. I've had to realize this as you get old, I guess. You'll find out many people in the United States are extremely predatory, extremely racist. I feel a very close connection with one man who came. He was in here on the West Coast. His name was Charles Dorner, or Charles Dornan. He was an LAPD officer who was fired at the age of 40 from LAPD. He lost his cool when he shot his boss, they say, and then they went and shot him. I was terminated from the FDIC at age 40, but what I saw was Psychops wars going on again. The same thing we had in the Navy. I worked at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation in 1999, the year of banking deregulation. I was in California and Hawaii. Some really weird Psychops stuff. One of my bosses was almost blown up with fuel at his home, and he came to the office. He was quarantined in his own little corner in the office with his own little door, closed door in front of him at his own little desk, and I went to see him, and it really seemed weird. I had forgotten the war in 1983 due to the stroke at that time, but in 1999, during banking deregulation, I think it gave me something to think about once my memory came back in 2015 on the war from 1983. I'm beyond cynical. I'm trying to figure out what my next move is. I've been having some measure of pain. Also with the stroke, I'm often sick for days. The government doesn't care. I mean, it doesn't matter to them. If you don't file a claim right then at that moment, they won't assist you. And if you get a stroke, you can't say, help me, because you don't remember anything. But I'm sure that the British know about these Psychops weapons. There seem to be, the Europeans always have an edge on these kind of weapons. I don't mean to knock the British, because like I said, their ship could have been jumped, and it might not have been the British ship that pulled up next to ours that jumped our ship and had us fire all those missiles. After we fired the missiles, we went back to base in Long Beach Naval Station, California. CPO, Chief Petty Officer Quartermaster Marsky, my boss, took off. He said he was going, he told me where he was going, I won't say, to a certain state. And then he left, and a lot of people were no longer on the boat. And then the next week we went out for the fire that we, after we fired the missiles, next week we went out, we had to go to where the detonation areas were at sea for nuclear stuff, and I was hit with a nuclear blast from bottom of the ocean. It's impacted me so much and my family. And then I was working as a journalist later in the 2000s, and the government was attacking me at my home and my family. I've given up on the United States as anything other than a lie. You know, I don't care if murderers, thieves, and liars are killed. It's just my own perspective. They don't care if I'm killed or maimed, or my children killed or maimed, or what comes around goes around. I can't care either. I'm trying to figure out what my next move is. Possibly get out of the United States or just disappear into the woods. You can't change the nature of mankind. I realize the United States is no different than any other place. I pity the people of Iraq. I pity the people of any other nation they've attacked, including the people of the Southeast who are currently attacked. They don't have the rights of the people of the West, and the West is basically a prison. Don't expect it to change out there anymore. It's also extremely discriminatory and real bias, and their government doesn't care about you in D.C. either. So I wish you the best. If you can get us a new government, I would support it wholeheartedly. I might be taking a trip down to Argentina. I'd like to work in an advisory role, talking with them of the weapons that I have discerned from my experiences in the USA military and from my study of nuclear weapons and mind control and energies using time nuclear blast. This is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambone, founder of Mobile Audit Club website. And you can see my videos by doing, you can see them in reverse chronological order by doing a Google search for YouTube Saint Rambone uploads. This is Kurt Brown, Saint Rambone, on one of those days. Mobile Audit Club website publications.